Welcome back after a week off. I hope everybody's well rested and enjoyed what they could of their Thanksgiving. Those of us in the States, um, the party finds themselves in the evening following an intense battle, a showdown with Zagnath Ironskull, the chieftain of the Ashen Skull orcs. The abandoned orc camp, the few survivors having left, um, picked through by the party, as well as Lotrock and his remaining Grey Orcs. Um, you find yourself settling down to rest for the evening, with Lotrock and the other orcs promising to stand watch tonight so that the party can all get some much needed rest. Um, I will leave the evening to you all to discuss what you'd like to do next. And let me know when you are done, and we'll move on.
I know Nora wants to talk to Rogar about this axe and how he wants me to go about removing this skull.
Yeah, so just to remind everybody, the jagged battle axe that Zagnath Ironskull carried into combat has a dragonborn's skull and spine lashed to it, rather securely. Um, in addition, it drips inky black shadows that dissipate as they hit the ground into a black smoke. There is a sense of necrotic magic coming from it.
Spooky. So we're technically recovering from our battle, right?
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
we've rested yet.
Okay.
You could definitely start off with a short rest. I will tell you guys if you know that I don't have anything planned. I don't have any encounters planned overnight. You'll get an honest long rest out of me without any trouble. So if you want to go ahead and just to save time, punch your long rest button and get that done, I'm totally cool with that.
Okay.
Yep. Punching it.
Punch it.
Ooh, yeah.
I feel rested.
So, just let me know when it's the next day, first thing in the morning. I have something I'd like to do.
Is there anything anybody wants to discuss or wants to do this evening before they go to bed?
Nope.
No. Oh, just what I said earlier, that's all.
I'm good for the evening.
Then as you settle down for the evening here in the remnants of the orc camp, you take some time to tend to your wounds, to think about the events of the past few days, and think about your next steps. As you settle down for a night's sleep, Lunalia.
Uh-oh.
Your high passive perception, your sort of natural ability for awareness of your surroundings, you find it a little hard to focus and to pass into your elvish trance, where you regain your spells and natural resources. But eventually, you slip into that state, aware still of the slow footfalls of Lotrock, or perhaps one of his brothers, standing guard, pacing the camp, looking for trouble. You your vision blurs, as it does sometimes, as you slip into thoughts replaying the events of the day. And as your mind wanders, your vision blurs further and darkens around the edges. You begin to hear what sounds like a distant voice, and with it a crackle, the sound, the feel of heat, the sound of flames crackling. The heat gets more intense, and your vision darkens further until it's pitch black. Only the smell of burning wood, steel, flesh, perhaps. The sound of crackling flames growing louder and louder. In the darkness of your vision, a pair of eyes suddenly flash open in the darkness. Blazing yellow irises, dark sclera only lit by the reflection of those irises. They look around. There's a panic to them, and they suddenly lock on you. You hear a voice, desperate. You can hear me? The voice is two-toned, all at once rumbling and hissing like the sound of a fire being put out, the sound of a distant explosion. Help me. I'm trapped. They are coming. They will be here soon. I will not survive for long. You must help. Help me. There's a flash. The eyes disappear. Your vision comes back to you. And you look down at your arms. The moisture that normally coats your skin is steaming off. And you feel a heat coming from the north.
And I'm wide awake now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. Is anyone else around me awake?
This all seemed to happen in your mind.
But my arms are still steaming,
Yeah.
like...
Mm-hmm. Like an after effect.
She's going to pull out the elemental gem that she got. And she's just going to hold on to it and look at it. Does it give her any sense of dread or worry holding it?
It doesn't, but the tiny mote within it that glows and pulses softly is just a bit brighter.
Mm.
And there is a chaotic pulse to it that wasn't there before.
In this vision, did I see the flames? Or just
No.
feel them?
The only thing that you saw that had any sort of light to it at all was those eyes that opened in the darkness.
And it doesn't sound like the voice of that water elemental I've heard before?
No, very different. Very much the opposite. A fiery voice, a voice that hissed and crackled like flames.
And now that I'm awake or out of trance, I feel like there's a sense of heat coming from the north.
Indeed. Yeah, as you look about, you definitely feel as if you're sitting close to a campfire, and when you turn away, you feel the cold night air on your skin, and when you turn towards the fire, you feel that radiance from it. You feel it from one direction only, and it is due north of you.
Do I know what's due north?
Well, if you direct your attention to the map, you can see that due north of you, about an hour's journey, 5 miles journey or so, is the forest's edge. And that would be that would be the majority of what you would see. The map that you see there is roughly equivalent to the map that you have access to. The map that was given the three that set out from Dralamar some time ago.
And
It's
on
a
this
very
map,
general map of the area.
each of these hexes is about, what, 5 miles?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's going to, because she's in one of the larger tents, she's going to step outside. And we're on a little bit of a hill here, aren't we?
Yeah, the actually, you know what, I can move you all back to the orc camp battle map, which is as we left it. Just ignore your placement, but yeah, the camp itself is on a flat spot of ground, but there are two sort of raised 20-foot high escarpments on which the larger tents are set. And I would imagine that, you know, you've probably, having picked through the horde that's in the larger of the two tents where Zagnath made his home, you know, it would have been the nicer of the tents as well. I imagine the party would have settled down to camp there for the night.
Yeah, so
correct me if I'm wrong. If there's somewhere else any of you would have liked to bed down, please let me know.
no, she would have slept in there. She's going to go outside the tent and she's going to climb up onto it if it's sturdy enough. And just see if she can see sort of over the fencing and look to the north.
Make a
to see if the sky looks like it's glowing.
Interesting. Make a athletics check.
Oh man.
Just for fun.
Uh-huh.
It takes you some time and you're not very quiet about it. But you do manage to scrabble up onto the roof of the tent, staying close to, you know, pretty much right on the large poles that hold the tent up. And you find, as you climb up, there is someone else atop the tent.
Oh yeah.
There's a figure, hunched down, slender, with at first what appears to be a cloak wrapped about it. But in the moonlight, you see feathers, dark feathers glistening. Its head turns towards you. You see slender elven ears and pale skin in the moonlight. Large, overlarge violet eyes. I did not think to have company here. Hello?
We did not think to have company of your kind either. What are you doing here?
The feathered cloak about it flutters a bit in the wind, and you realize that they are wings wrapped around its frame. I came to see who dealt with the orcs. I watched from a distance, helpless against their number. What is your intent here? What does your group wish to do next?
Well, we need to find the source of the undead. We can't leave the town as it is.
I'm with you. He bows slightly. My name is Airdrith. I live to the north of here, a place called Falcon's Rest. He pauses, waiting for some sort of acknowledgement from you, and the most you would have heard of it is having seen a name on the map.
Mm-hmm.
I am a friend of sorts to the folk who live in this valley and in the town there beyond. A few of them I found wandering in the wood, refugees from the horrors of what happened there. I've taken them back to my lodge, And I was hoping, if it is not too much trouble, you would take them with you when you leave this place.
That might be possible, but we're not entirely sure where our next destination is. And I must warn you, some of our little group don't take kindly to outsiders. She's checking to see what color his feathers are.
They're jet black, and they glisten in the moonlight. His wings flutter about him a little bit, and then flare open. You see his slender frame, bare-chested, with nothing more than a long shawl wrapped around his neck and shoulders. Long leather skirts below that. Beneath the folded wings that are now open, you see him clutching a bow in his lap. A beautiful bow, recurve with the gold faces of elvish warriors, their mouths open in battle cries on either side of the grip. He holds it in his lap, not in a threatening manner at all. You see hanging at his belt a quiver full of arrows. He says, I am an elf, somewhat akin to you. They seem to have no problem with your presence. I hope they would accept mine.
Well, only time can tell. I will have to discuss this with my companions. As I said, we can't leave the town as it is. We're looking for the source of this undeath.
Up here on the top of this large tent, you feel that heat against your face again from the north. So much so that it's distracting. It causes you to look towards the north just for a second. And Airdreth notices it and says, "What is it you see? What are you looking for?"
I don't see anything. It's a feeling. It's a feeling of heat coming from the north. I can't place it.
He closes his
Keep
eyes
looking,
and holds.
expecting to see flames.
He closes his eyes and lifts a hand outstretched in that direction. His fingers trailing through the air. I feel nothing. Strange. Which way did you say? To the north?
Due north of here.
Heat.
Yes. She's gonna sort of rub at her arms absently where they were steaming earlier. They're not steaming anymore, are they?
No. The moisture has returned at its normal temperature. The winged elf stands up and looks, squinting his eyes due north, and he turns and looks at you and says, "I know of only one thing north of here that is close. An hour's journey beyond the tree line. Well, an hour for you, less for me." And his wings flutter a bit in the soft breeze. There is a manor house on a hill. It belonged to, I wouldn't call him a friend, an acquaintance. Master Kaeldrim, although I have not seen him there in many years.
The name obviously doesn't ring a bell for her.
Would you like me to go there and see what I can find for you?
I mean, I don't even know you. You'd be willing to do that?
There is little else for me to do here until your friends awake. I will go and return in the morning.
That will give me time to prepare my companions.
Very well. I will see you then, just past dawn. And he walks to the edge of the tent, takes a step off, the wings open fully, and push at the air, lifting him almost effortlessly. 3 more strong beats of the wings, and he lifts high into the sky and begins to glide off northernly. There is a shout from the orc that is standing watch, and he looks up towards you and sees you, and then awkwardly raises a hand. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine.
Big bird. I didn't see it.
Well, its feathers are quite dark. It's understandable.
Okay. Turns and awkwardly walks off into the shadows.
Yeah, she's going to climb down. Well, she's going to sit on the tent for a little while. How long till dawn?
It's the dead middle of the night. You've got several hours.
Yeah, she's going to sit on top of the tent for another hour or so. Just keeping her eyes to the north, and then she'll go back to bed.
Make a perception check. These roll templates are the worst. Wow.
Yeah.
You cannot shake the feeling that something is watching you. But
You
you
want to
look
get a
around,
sense from where?
you look around and you find yourself peering into the darkest of shadows. Down below, at a spot sort of around 30 or so feet away, in between bushes, up against the stone outcropping of the next escarpment over, there is a dark spot where the shadows fall darker than they should, perhaps. You feel more than see eyes peering out at you from those shadows. You stare, and there's nothing there, but you can't shake the feeling that there is something.
Okay. Yeah, she'll just stay up for, about an hour or so before going back inside the tent.
All right. Unless anybody else wakes up in the middle of the night, we can skip forward to the next morning. Dawn comes early, a little bit earlier than the day before and the days before that, as we ever so slowly crawl towards summer. The sky is mostly clear. Wisps of white clouds trail high above. There is a stiff breeze from the west. Dew on the grass early in the morning glistens as the sun rises. You all find yourselves coming awake, rested from the day before. Some of you more sore than others from your battles. What would you like to do?
Well, as soon as everyone's awake, she would tell them of last night's visitor. We had a visitor last night. I found him on the roof of the large tent.
I have my soap.
No, he did not have your soap, Noro. Although I didn't ask him. I'm sure that's not the case. He says he has some refugees that had fled the town. He will return shortly to speak with all of us. I think he wants our help.
With what?
I think he needs a place for these refugees to go. I explained to him that we couldn't really leave the town until we determined the source of this undeath. And he said he would be willing to help.
Do you trust this person?
She trusts
I don't
everyone.
know him. I don't know enough to not trust him. He's a little strange. While I've heard of his kind, I've never actually seen one. He has very large black wings.
Like me?
Is it an Asmir? Or whatever
No,
they're
he's
called?
Elven. No, Aasimar.
Okay, Aasimar.
No, he's Elven. I believe they're called Avariel.
Well, if he has refugees
I
from the
don't-
town, I'd like to help.
Yes.
But I agree.
This
We
would
have to find out what's going on with this death. Sorry, Poker. Go ahead.
While you're all discussing this, some of you become aware of a shape growing larger in the sky to the north, and eventually all of you notice a winged creature. Its wingspan quite large, growing larger as it approaches. It dips low to the ground and very seamlessly transitions from flight to a run, slowing to a walk. The wings fold up and sort of drape around its body. As this figure comes closer, you see what Linalia saw the night before. A very slender, very tall elven man with pale skin, long dark hair that's a little feathery in appearance, with large black wings that he keeps folded close against his body, almost like a cloak. He stops a good 10 feet away from the group, bows deeply. Good morning.
This is the one I was speaking about.
He looks about the group, surveying all of you. His large violet eyes slowly moving back and forth between each of you. He nods.
Strangest friends at night.
Didn't hear you there, Ice.
I said, you make the strangest friends at night.
Well, that's... I think just coincidence. My eyes are always watching.
Is this a common type creature race thing?
Yeah, that,
No, Avariel are very rare. They're winged elves. They're one of the elven races. They're one of the oldest elven races. Originally from the Feywild. There are very few of them on the material plane. And they live in very small mountain tribes. So to see one, and I would imagine Most of you have probably heard tale of winged elves at some point. You know, maybe a legend or a story about them. But to see one in person is quite a sight. The elf smiles and says, "I must say you appear to be more pleasant neighbors than those who lived here before. My name is Airdrith Talisphere. I am a friend of the folk in the town to the south of here, of sorts, and a guardian of the wood to the north. I have a lodge a day's walk north of here by foot, Falcon's Rest. Perhaps you've heard of it?" And he looks around and looks more towards Deebs and Rogar. Make a history check.
Noro is approaching. He's just stunned. Like, and he wants to touch, like, the face. Like, is this real?
Rogar, you've heard of Falcon's Rest. Not really in any context other than the name is familiar to you, and that it is a some sort of retreat or lodge that you've heard of people going to in the past. Deebs, you're not certain. Noro, as you approach, Airdrith just stands there and watches you curiously. You walk up, and a meaty hand comes up and touches his face, and he just stands there and lets you.
And I say, this one's always wet, and this one has wings.
The wings open broadly in front of you as if to show them off. And you see a glimpse of a bow at his side in one hand. A beautiful elven bow. One of the
I don't know
wings dips forward to you as sort of to let you touch it if you wish.
That's, yes. I'm like, I'm just in awe. Like, what? How does this exist?
One might say the same about you. You seem to be made of the mountains themselves, my friend. Although I have seen your kind before.
You have?
Yes, you're not all as rare as you might think. I saw one of your kind somewhat recently, actually.
Recently?
He looks about the group and he says, "I should get back to my lodge. I would like to check in on those who I shelter. Should I bring them here, or should I wait for word from you?"
I would wait for word. We don't know how this undeath is spreading, or how far its reach is.
Very well. Oh, I owe you some information. I
Yes.
checked in on Kaeldrim's home. It is as empty as it has been for the past few years. But someone has been there recently. And there are bodies. Several. Burned badly. Wearing, well, what is left of red robes.
Huh. This is definitely worth investigating. Has she told the group about the red robes?
I don't know.
I don't know about any red robes.
I don't either.
Well, it seems some explanations are in order this afternoon.
And Noro has 'cause obviously this person flew right
Mhm.
last night.
Yep.
And then came back.
Yeah, he flew north and then came back.
And it makes Noro prompt a question to Deej that says, "What about that dream with Dralamar? Like, maybe this guy flew by around there. Is there trouble over there?" And I'm kind of like looking at Deej, like, ask him or something, or like maybe he heard me. I don't know.
He looks at you, he cocks his head to one side and says, Dralamar is a long ways from here, even for me.
I don't know. You got
Have,
wings.
have you
So
have you
it's
seen anything out of the ordinary anywhere else? I guess is what my large friend is asking.
Just the calamity that befell the town here. The dead rising in the streets and the coming of the orcs. Once the orcs arrived, there was little else I could do. I took those who fled to the tree line to safety and came back looking for any others who had escaped from the town or from the farms around it.
Do you have any idea when this may have started? Do you have any information on this undeath?
Yes, 2 weeks ago. I would
Sorry.
say.
Just as a sidebar, we know that Malareth was here.
Yeah.
I just don't remember
just to
how
remind
we
everybody, well, the fellows from Ansburg, Heinrich and Gunther, one of them who is alive and the other who you found undead. One or both of them mentioned a creepy hooded figure whose presence was unsettling enough that they left a day early from the town. I believe Lotrock mentioned a robed, hooded visitor to the Orcish camp as well, who was received by Zagneth, and he revealed him to be a drow that matched Malreth's description.
Right.
Then I
it
dream
seems
on my
like-
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. You
and
drew
it
him.
seems like the arrival of it seems like the arrival of these orcs was not a coincidence. Then, if Malreth was here before the dead started to rise in this town, as well as meeting these orcs who showed up some days later. Erdrith proceeds to recount some of what he observed from a distance, and it matches very much what you've heard.
Okay.
This be that one time that you said there was someone flying above that looked like a person with wings?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, he's basically, he would tell you he's been hanging around the edge of the forest, at a distance watching, because it's just him. There's no way he's going to take on 40 orcs.
Right. Well,
I'm not sure what we can do to save the town without getting Malareth.
Well, yeah, we don't know how he did what he did.
Mhm.
I think there was some theories that their water source might have been corrupted.
oh yeah.
As you're talking about that, Lotrock approaches. I'm sorry. I've been listening from a distance. My friends, my brothers here tell me that some of ours and of the other orcs fell. Only those who were in the town for any length of time. Although I do not know why some fell and rose again and others did not. There is something about that town that is unnatural.
And he's referencing Falcon Rest, right?
No, the
No,
town we're in.
the Coneyberry, the town to the just to the south of where you're. Like it's
Okay.
you can see it off in the distance. It's maybe a half hour's walk to the town.
Oh, okay.
I just wonder if there's some kind of item or something, maybe something in the well, like.
So I was going to
Like
say
a
we can
cursed
check water
object or
sources.
Right.
something.
Yeah. Exactly. Maybe we should investigate the well.
I agree.
Oops, yeah.
Airdrith? Is his eyes glowing, by the way? Is they purple?
No.
Okay.
They're just an overlarge, soft violet color.
I just stole Lucid's joke. Airdrith, again, I greatly appreciate you taking the townspeople in. If it's okay with everyone else, I'd like to, once we finish investigating and so on, we can possibly take them back to Phandalin.
Sounds like a good idea.
I think that would be wise. I thank you for the offer, and I believe they would gladly take you up on it.
How do we know they
So-
won't come back as zombies?
I think we need to look them over very carefully.
True. But let's go into town and see if we can investigate a little bit further.
I would accompany you if you would have me. I wish to see for myself what happened.
Another pair of eyes is always a good thing.
Hmm.
Yep.
Well then, shall we go?
No time to waste.
Yes.
Lotruck, as you all decide this, I believe we are going to go a different direction, unless you wish us to accompany you as well. There are only the three of us here, and I wish to join my brothers at the bridge.
Of course.
We
I
appreciate the
don't-
assistance, Lotrak.
It is us who have you to thank for releasing us from our captors. Believe me, we did not wish to be with Sagnath and his people. I promise you, we will be of no trouble to you, to any of you. We will find our own way. And he looks at Rogar and bows deeply. And I am sorry for what orcs have done to you and your kind. I will remember the lesson you taught Zagnath. And he smiles broadly. I'll remember it well.
Before you leave, if you're heading towards the bridge, maybe you said there was beasts of burden. that you had in the town. Maybe bring those with you. We have another companion who is close to the bridge with a wagon, but we have no beasts of burden.
They're being kept at a farm, not far from here. And he points to the east a little ways. We will take them. We have no intent on returning to this place. We've taken what we need. We will move on. Where is your wagon?
We planted it in
we hit
they
it.
stashed it
the south of the bridge, didn't we?
Yeah.
You left Heinrich with it as well.
Yeah. I'm just worried about, a couple of orcs with beasts of burden showing up.
A bunch of orcs and oxen show up.
Perhaps
Well, the other
as
orcs
you,
would already be there.
Yeah, perhaps once you reach
Oh,
the
yeah.
bridge, you could head south and just call out to Heinrich, tell him you will leave the oxen here at the end of the bridge and that you mean him no harm. That Deeb's Darkbeard sends his regards.
Ah, that's me.
Well, it is not
I know.
me.
Yes, that is acceptable. Very well. I thank you again. And he nods at all of you and shouts something in Orcish to the other two, and they pick up several sacks and a couple of large packs and start to head out. So, you all group up and begin to head south. It is a quick journey back to what are now just smoldering piles of charred flesh and wood where the bonfires had burned at the edge of town. Up the hill where the main portion of buildings are, it's eerily quiet. Not even birdsong from the sparse trees about the edge of the buildings. Where are you going, and what are you doing?
I'd like to head to the well.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
follow behind Deeps.
Well, entering the town as you did before, seeing as though it's the side of town you're most familiar with, the west portion of town, you pass the building where you had all gone into, and not much further past that, a bit of cobbled ground, whereas the streets of this small town, what few there are mostly dirt. There is a small cobbled square at the center of town, surrounded by buildings that some of them have seen better days. One of them is burnt out entirely. Another one, the roof is collapsed in. Another one still, the wall has been torn down, deep claw marks in it. At the center of this cobbled square is an old well. Stones stacked 3 feet high around its rim. The well itself is around 7 feet across. And as you all slowly approach it, Scribble, there is a sense that you get. It is something you've felt before. There is a comfort, a dark comfort about this place.
Oh boy.
Does it feel like the graveyard?
It does. Very much.
Oh, man.
When we get to the well, I'd like to pick up a decent sized stone and cast light on it
All right.
and throw it into the well. And I have that that's a cantrip, so just
You pick up a good size chunk of loose cobbled. Utter a word of power, and it begins to glow, softly at first and then brighter. And you're dropping it in the well?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You drop it, and you hear it hit bottom after bouncing off the walls a couple of times. You look down. The light, as it falls, the light dims quickly and is snuffed out well before it hits the water surface.
Mm. Who's going in? Scribble?
No.
7 foot wide.
Scribble!
No one's going in this well.
There's something down there.
If
It's water.
we have a rope, I could get Nora or Rogar to lower me down. I will have a look.
Airdreth, with his bow at the ready and an arrow knocked, walks over and says, "Wait." You see a shine of golden light in his eyes as he looks about and looks down the well. There is something there, but it is not undead. I cannot see it through the shadows, but
So Nellia's just going to lean over the edge of the well and say, "Hello, we know that you're down there. Could you
He looks at you.
speak with us?"
The golden sparkle still in his eyes. I don't think it's a creature, but there is something there.
All right, lower me a rope. I'll have a look. If I tug on this, yank me back up.
Are you going to
Alright.
touch the water?
I can go down into the water.
But don't you believe that the water was partly causing?
I think I'll be okay as long as I don't drink it.
Sure, let's go with that.
Should be fine.
I have a revivify. Oh my. Oh my.
Oh my.
Pay no attention to the battle map. We're not rolling.
Why there is a
initiative.
battle map? What?
Because battle maps are fun.
So,
Okay.
Poker, with the feeling, is it coming from the well, or is it around us, or can I tell at all?
It's hard for you to tell. The sky is darkening slowly. You think at first it's your vision fading, but it is definitely the sky darkening. The clouds, what few there are, take on a strange purple hue. The blue sky between them darkens. Scribble's the only one that notices this at first, but then all of you, looking down more than up at first, eventually begin to realize the light around you is dimming.
Before we proceed, perhaps I should tell you. Last night I thought I saw. It's hard to explain. There was a darkness in the bushes between objects. I couldn't see anything, but it felt like something was there. Scribble, is this something that you've encountered before?
is what she's describing, is that like the feeling, or it sounds kind of different to me?
No, the feeling you're getting here is much closer to what you felt at the Dwarven Cairns.
Oh.
Whereas what I felt or thought I felt was more like there was something there.
So
But-
no, I don't think it's the same. I feel like I did at the graveyard in Vandalin.
Oh,
Erdrith says, "We should leave this place soon. I do not like this."
Who took? Can we use the gem of seeing to look into the well?
Who has it?
Who has it?
I don't think we decided.
nobody does.
Yeah, nobody decided.
Seems like something clericy.
Deeb's Darkbeard will take the gem of seeing, and I'll look. I don't know how to use it, but I want to look into the well with it, or do whatever I can with it.
Well,
Rogar
Begins tying rope around his waist.
I don't actually have it here in front of me. But you could link it to the chat if
Okay.
you wanted. I believe when you activate it, it just gives you true sight for 10 minutes.
Yeah, true sight out to 120 feet.
So you'd be able to see anything hidden.
I don't know what true sight does.
You can see invisible things. You can see
Okay.
through magical darkness.
Ah, yes.
You can detect illusions.
All right.
There you go. I just pasted the and that's direct out of
Nice.
the player's handbook.
I will. I mean, if it's okay with everyone else, I'll expend the charge to use it.
Yeah.
Okay. Poker.
You hold the gem in your hand and you speak the command word that comes to mind from your attunement to it. Suddenly, your vision changes. There is a shimmer that washes over everything around you. A silver light seems to bathe everything about you as your vision shifts. You look around. The sky still dims as it did with your normal vision. But it doesn't seem to encroach as much upon your ability to see. You look about and don't really see anything different about you other than just that strange silvery glow over everything. But as you look down into the well, your vision pierces the darkness there, and you very clearly see a glint of silver? No, maybe mithril. There is an object at the bottom of the well, submerged but not deeply in the water. There are there's a faint purple glow coming from it, and there is a some sort of metal atop it. It's hard to see at this distance. It's about 65 feet down.
There's an item down there. Metallic. About 60 feet. I bet that's a cursed object.
I will go.
How do we get it without being infected?
Do we know how to deal? Like, does anyone know how to deal with a cursed object? I don't think I would.
Right, that's what I was going to ask.
Lunali was just going to grab it with like a piece of leather so that she doesn't actually touch it.
Yeah,
Like, would Deebs as a cleric know or have any idea?
I believe I have, I mean, I don't have it prepared, but I believe I might have something for... Maybe.
Well, just like any knowledge.
You have a
Remove
Yeah,
curse. I do
there's-
have remove curse as a 3rd level spell.
Oh, nice.
there is Remove curse may or may not work depending on how powerful the object is. If the object itself is cursed and it has an effect on a person, or curses a person, you could lift that effect from the person. You're not entirely certain if you could use it to break a powerful curse on an object itself.
But he could get
But
it off a person if they got cursed because of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's with some certainty you think that if it were a curse, you're not sure it is, but if it were, you could lift it from somebody with that spell.
Yeah, just keep in mind I don't have that prepared at the moment.
Okay.
Fucking useless.
I know.
Nalia will go and sit on the well's edge, and she'll take the rope from Rogar that he had tied around his waist and tell him to hold on.
Before you do this, did that thing down there look... Does it look like it could be picked up with a hook?
Poker?
Like, were there any loops or anything on it?
It was somewhat roundish. Maybe about the size of a melon, a small, mid-sized melon.
Was there a bucket here that would pick up water that it would fit in?
There is a bucket and a coil of tattered rope there that looks like it's seen quite a bit of use.
Oh.
So could we just fish it out instead of sending you down in the well?
You could certainly try. 65 feet down in the water. You're not entirely sure how you would get a bucket around this thing to lift it up.
Okay, she's just gonna go down the well.
Yeah.
Oh! Whoa!
Slowly lower her down.
All right.
Maybe take the bucket with you.
I'm trying to see if I have something I can help you. I
Yeah,
don't
she's
really have
grabbed the
anything.
bucket. She's got the bucket with her. So once she reaches the water's surface, she'll stop.
So
She'll call out to stop.
Are you having them lower you down? Like, are you tying a rope around your waist and they're lowering you down, or are you climbing down a rope, or how are you doing this?
No. I've tied the rope around myself and getting them to lower me down.
Okay, I'm assuming the big boys are handling the rope.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like she's that heavy.
Yeah, I've got the other end wrapped around me.
No, but I mean, Deebs needs a fucking box to stand on to even see over the edge of the well. So
How dare you?
you're like 4 feet tall, man.
How dare you?
Oh man.
So as Noro and Rogar begin to lower you down, you start to feel colder, much colder. The air in here is not just damp, but it is devoid of life. In fact, so much so that it begins to hurt. You feel this chilling cold in your bones. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw as you pass the first 20 feet.
Nice.
All right.
She's also going to druidcraft just a tiny little flame in her hand so that she can see better.
You attempt to. There is a brief flash of light, and it just fizzles out.
Ooh.
As you take 14 points of necrotic damage.
Oh!
You try and gasp for air, and you feel the wind sucked out of your chest suddenly. You feel like your entire body collapses in on itself as the life essence is just drawn from you into the cold about you.
She's going to yell up, "Faster!"
You guys see her, and you hear her, but her voice comes back muffled. you can understand her, but you begin to almost lose sight of her in the dark mist that is down in the well. Do you lower her faster?
Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
Yes.
All right. I need you to make one more con save
Okay.
as you reach bottom. Then
Once she reaches, I'll make the con save now. But when she reaches the water's surface, she's going to cast Bark Skin.
Oh, nice.
23. Damn.
Nice.
Yeah, that combined with a much better, much worse damage roll for me. You take another 8 points of necrotic damage. You're able to resist it, but the air is just ice cold here.
Can I see this object now?
Just barely. Deebs, your light cantrip that you cast on that stone lasts for some time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's a minute, 10 minutes, an hour. It's
It's an hour. Yep.
Okay.
20,
unless
20-foot radius.
Yeah. Lunalia, when you reach the water's surface, there is a very muted ripple of light that comes up from below. It's so dim now because of the dark, shadowy mists that are swirling about this object in here. As you look, you see a dark shape that is silhouetted by the light coming up from beneath it. There is an object within reach here, just beneath the water's surface, within your reach. It appears to be a skull. It's traced with glowing purple runes
I knew it.
that shimmer and ripple, and it's a bit oddly shaped. It might be dwarvish. Atop its head is a tarnished crown.
Crown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Tarnished
if I
mithril
take the
crown.
bucket, with me, can I scoop the skull into it without touching it?
Yes, but I'm going to need you to make a dexterity check.
Oh, dexterity. That's a saving throw or a check?
No, just a check. Just to see how deftly you scoop it.
Mm,
Good.
good.
You sort of bobble it on your first attempt, dipping in and getting a bucket full of water. It pushes the skull sort of to the side. It seems to be floating, almost suspended by some invisible thread. You go for a second attempt and you get the bucket underneath it and manage to lift it up. I need you to make another con save.
Okay.
You can do it.
This time you take 16 points of necrotic damage. You feel the life leaving you, and as close as you are to the skull, you can see the runes glow brighter as this pulse of necrotic energy washes over you.
Yeah, as soon as she has it, she's going to yell at the top of her lungs, "Pull me up!"
Voice sounds ever so far away, but the two of you on the rope hear her and begin to start hauling her back. I need you both to make a strength, let's say an athletics check, just to see how fast you get her out of there.
Damn.
New belt. Who dis?
Oh.
Oh,
Rogar's just gonna start walking.
Yeah. Grabbing the rope, Rogar just takes off and starts not just pulling with his arms, but actually physically moving the anchor point on the end of the rope. Lunalia, you start rising, at a rapid pace, and just manage to get your feet along the wall before you're bashed against it and sort of reverse repel, run up the wall. as they pull you out. You crest the edge and out onto the ground, dropping the bucket. The skull rolls out of it and comes to a stop. Deebs, you see this for the first time. It is a dwarvish skull. Firmly affixed to it is a tarnished mithril crown that you have seen before.
She's just gonna gasp out, "Don't touch it!"
Mithril.
Greedy ass dwarf.
I reckon. Okay, what is it?
It is a crown that you've seen fairly recently.
Oh no.
A spectral image of it appeared on the head of Thalgrim Stonehand.
Oh. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh yeah!
Malarath raided Axholm. That son of a bitch.
What was this? The Lich from the graveyard, or is this a different name?
The
No,
raid.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
Lich.
no, the Wraith. Yeah,
Yeah,
Right,
sorry,
right,
this
yeah.
this is the Wraith from the graveyard. With this skull now out of the well and on the surface, the light around you all dims even further. Deebs, with the true sight granted by the gem, it doesn't affect you as much, and you look at the skull and you can see these runes that are engraved in it, rippling and shining with a dark power. There's a bright purple that emanates from them, the sickly purple glow. You also notice in one of its empty eye sockets a small, round, ethereal orb. It appears to be an eye, perfectly round, and it looks about and locks in on you as you see it.
Oh no.
It blinks once.
What?
What sorcery is this?
Noro's starting to freak out.
And it just, the eyeball stares at you. It's none of the rest of you see this, only Deeps because he has true sight.
There's an eye.
Oh.
There's an eye. There's an eyeball staring at me.
Scribble, make an Arcana check. Nice. You are aware of, but have never actually seen one, magical sensors that are used for scrying. I imagine that your background, growing up on the streets in a large city, you may have heard rumors or tales told of people using magic for nefarious means, for espionage, to look in on others, to scout out places they're about to rob, that sort of thing. You have heard of magical scrying eyes, magical scrying sensors, and this fits the description from what Deebs tells you. They're typically invisible. They're seen via other spells or abilities that grant true sight or grant the ability to see the invisible.
And so, like, would I know? Are they like destructible or?
That's a really good question.
I
Give me a
mean,
second, and I
dispel
will check.
magic.
I just fucking crush it.
I'm thinking about crushing the skull right now.
I think it needs to be cleansed.
Yeah.
Lunalia is going to use her brand new Staff of Healing to get back some much needed health.
Oh, there you go. Do the spells for that show up in your spells list?
Yes.
Cool.
Is there charges on that? I can just cast Cure Wounds
Yes.
on you.
Yes, but this will save us from using a spell slot, and the charges can be regained at dawn.
I see.
Yeah, it's free heals, dude. You've been replaced.
Hmm.
You've been replaced by a stick.
Mm-hmm.
No, think of it more like, less heals and more call lightning. Yeah, nobody really needs to make an Arcana check for this. I mean, it's if you have access to the dispel magic spell, or if you're familiar with the spell, it stands to reason that that it's a magical effect like the scrying sensor could be dispelled, specifically by one who can see it.
Oh boy.
But I mean, like, is it a physical object that can be like removed, or is it just a magical effect?
It is not. It's a magical effect.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you put your finger in it, it would go right through it. You wouldn't feel it at all.
So I'm just going to mention to Deebs that someone's probably watching him through it.
Malarath.
Lunali is just going to rip off her cloak and chuck it over top of the skull.
All right. Anyone who gets, even close to the skull, within a foot or so of it, feels that sucking cold from it. Not so much that you take damage, but you would surmise that it's a cumulative effect. It's sitting in the well for an extended period of time is what caused the damaging necrotic aura that was there. And in fact, as you wrap a cloak around it and pick it up and pull it away from the well, the sky about you seems to brighten a bit. But anyone nearby this skull feels a bit of this unsettling effect and sees a bit of their vision darkening around the edges. A muted version of what those of you who visited the dwarven grave sites would have seen when the wraith appeared. Scribble, it smells like warm apple pie and feels like a nice cozy campfire to you. There is
Wow.
there is a comforting feeling about being around this thing.
There's something wrong with this bird.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no sense of danger from it to you at all. In fact, you find yourself somewhat drawn towards it.
Oh no.
What are we gonna do? We need to cleanse it, destroy it.
Can you do that?
I can try. I'll need to prepare a spell. I don't know if this might be too powerful.
Maybe tonight you could beseech your god. Perhaps until then, Scribble could carry the bucket.
I'll hold on to it.
Since he's feeling all warm about it.
Airdrith, do you have any ideas?
There is a deeply concerned look on his face. I have not been this near to anything so dark. I want to be as far away from that thing as possible. It is profane. I don't know
The
if there's
bucket towards him.
anything that any of us have that can destroy that. There is a power in it. Can you not feel it?
Oh yes, I felt it.
I wonder what would happen if we took it back to the Wraith.
Interesting. Erdrith takes a few steps back. You can see him gripping the bow tightly. His knuckles white, and he looks as if he's about to vomit. I do not feel comfortable near that thing.
Nora
So-
wants to
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Nora wants to know who messed with the graveyard.
We don't know that the graveyard's been messed with.
This wouldn't be happening if somebody messed with the graveyard.
Well, it sounds to
My
me
suspicion.
like Malarath has probably visited Axholm, as Deebs suggests.
How do we make it stop?
That
I'm-
is a question for a cleric.
I'm trying to remember the conversation with the wraith.
Well, the Wraith told you that they were betrayed. That the betrayer still dwells within Axholm. You would know that in life, the creature that became the Wraith was a former Thane of the Dwarven clan that lived at Axholm, well before your time, and that you probably wouldn't have too much knowledge of him beyond that, other than there was a battle and many lives were lost. But you're not entirely certain of the rest of the story. You were too young when Axholm fell to have learned too much about the past history. It's something you could possibly do some research on, ask around, go to Axholm and figure out what happened. But the only thing that's clear is that Dwarven Thane was not alive anytime near your own time. It's from the
Got
past.
it. Okay.
So his story and your story are parallel, but not the same.
I'll need to. I'll try to speak to Saloon, or pray to Saloon, for answers. Actually, could I just do that now?
You could try.
I mean, it's not evening or nighttime, but
Maybe
Yeah,
the moon's out in the day.
I'm gonna give it a shot. Saloon, can you give me some guidance?
You close your eyes and bow your head in prayer. Roll a d20 for me. Just a d20. Just for fun. Let's see what you get. Hmm. Seeing you praying, Airdrith walks over and places a slender hand on your shoulder and utters a short blessing in Elvish. There is a sparkle of golden light over Deebs, and he is protected from evil for the next 10 minutes. You immediately, Deebs, feel a weight lifted off you. You didn't notice it came on gradually, but suddenly you feel like you're able to take deep breaths again, and the world about you is slightly brighter. The elf smiles softly and nods, taking a few steps away from you to let you concentrate. And as you bow your head again in prayer, there is a sense that touches you, that instills you with the feeling that this is all much, much bigger than you can handle. Your mind is drawn back to Phandalin, and there is a sense that someone there can help. Someone there who didn't want to help before, but who might be willing with this. This might be large enough, a big enough problem for her to step in.
Guess what? Pulling out my coin.
Uh-oh.
Gadiel! Yeah!
Yes.
Anyway,
Ah.
Now we just got a DMCA strike.
how is the background audio for you guys? Is it loud enough, or is it?
Oh, it's
Is it
good.
really? Okay, I must have it turned way down for me because I can barely hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out my coin.
All right, you pull out the small silver coin that she gave you now weeks ago, and hold it in your hand, rubbing your thumb over it, thinking back to the day that she gave it to you and the words that came with it. There is a moment of hesitation, and you push through that and focus and ask for help while holding that coin. Nothing happens at first, but in your mind you hear her voice. I'm coming. Wait for me. And the words echo for a few seconds. But nothing happens. What do you guys want to do?
While it was uncovered, like the purple stones that you mentioned on the skull,
Mm-hmm.
like were those any like a specific type of gemstone, or like was there any significance to the purpleness?
I thought it was runes.
Yeah, they are arcane runes that are engraved into the skull in like a pattern that winds around it, like almost as if chains were wrapped around it. They're carved into it, and this purple light sort of shimmers from within them, almost as if the runes were carved into the skull and then filled with a purple liquid, like an energy that ripples.
Did we get a like good enough look at it to see if we recognized like if it was a specific language or?
You could make an Arcana check.
Nope.
What you can tell by did you roll? Oh, there it is. All you can tell by inspecting it is that it is an incredibly complex necrotic enchantment. Some wizard shit.
Okay.
But you've never seen anything this complex. It's very, very detailed, and it's very. There are layers and layers of enchantments on this thing.
Oh, fun. So the dudes announced that he was doing his coin
Scribble
thing.
uncovers the. Well, I don't know. Did you tell anybody, or did you just finish your prayer and then get the coin out?
I'm summoning. I'll let him know. I'm summoning Gadiel. She can help.
When he says that, Erdrith's eyes go a little bit wider, and he nods and takes a couple steps back, lowering the bow to his side, removing the arrow from it. I had no idea. I didn't know that she was with you. This is good. Very good, perhaps.
Know her?
I know of her.
What do you know about her?
Sounds like your bae gets around.
And you
these.
better not be dating.
Only that she is. Well, if you don't know, I'm sure you'll see for yourself, but only that she is powerful. So as you wait, if you're all just gonna hang out here on the well and wait,
Yeah, Lunalia's moved far away from Scribbles.
yeah, and anytime Scribble, uncovers the skull to inspect it, like there is the immediate return of that sinking, cold feeling, and the shadows deepening and the sky darkening.
Stop doing that. It's making us sick.
Covering the skull seems to mute most of that effect. It's just, it turns your stomach just a little bit. You know it's there, you can feel it, but it's not too bad. But when he uncovers it, it seems to be the radiance from those runes is, it's not only a proximity effect, but it's also, blocked or muted by objects. What I'm saying is you could stuff it in a bag and it'd probably be okay, but, unsettling nonetheless. You wait for a while, 10 minutes, 20, 30 minutes go by. Nothing.
Is
And
there
then-
an inn nearby?
There is actually the building just to your let's see, just to the north of you. It's a very small inn. What's left of the broken sign out front there's a picture of a small silver bird, its wings outstretched, and you can just barely make out the words at the bottom of the sign that have been, scuffed and charred from fire. The Silver Songbird Inn.
Rogar will see if he can get into the building.
Is anybody else having audio issues with Discord?
Nope.
Not at the moment.
It's just incoming audio for me. Like sometimes you guys will be a little bit delayed, or there'll be like gaps in your talking or whatever. It seems to be happening to everybody. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, maybe if we take a break, I'll restart my Discord.
Well, why don't we do that now then before we get any farther?
Yeah, we can. Sure. Are you guys okay with a 5-minute break?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, stream,
We'll be back.
it is break time. I need everybody in the stream to give me a number between 1 and 20.
What the hell? Hey, apparently I have one viewer on my stream, although I don't know if that counts me or not.
Lucid, you don't count. Neither did you.
What do you mean?
This is for our stream watchers only.
Yeah. I got the stream up.
So do I.
Who's that?
I don't know.
That's peace.
Oh,
Why
is
is
it?
his name all fucked up?
Okay, I will roll a d20 and we'll see what we get. $17, so it looks like
Darsha.
yeah. Looks like Starsha. Congratulations.
What are we giving away? I got a.
I can't tell you. It's for
I got
Starsha only.
I have a half-eaten piece of pizza sitting on my desk here.
I will put a picture in Discord later. Actually, I'll do it on the break.
What?
All right, official
Yeah,
break
we can have a
now.
break. Let's take a break.
All
Yes,
right.
break now.
Bye.
And we're back.
You all spend a good half hour waiting. Scribble, you feel like the odd one out in the party as everybody has distanced themselves from you a bit due to the object you're hanging on to. There is the sound of wings cutting through the air quickly a distance away from you, and then footsteps on the ground moving quickly in your direction. Deebs, you turn and you see Gariel walking towards you all. There is a shimmer of golden light trailing behind her that disappears as she walks up towards you all, stops a distance away, and looks surprised to see all of you here. I thought there was something wrong. I came as fast as I could.
Gariel, I'm
turns-
sorry. Oh, go ahead.
She turns to Airdrith and cocks her head to the side. Hello. He just bows deeply, takes a step back. Is everything all right, Deebs?
I'm afraid not. There's a powerful cursed item that destroyed this town. I was hoping you could assist us. I'm worried this could spread.
I thought the worst. Well, let me see it.
Scribble. Show it to Gariel.
Scribble's all in the corner, wrapped around it. My precious.
He's patting his skull.
Actually, Scribble, can you make a wisdom saving throw for me, please?
Uh-oh.
I'm getting juicy.
I cannot.
You don't want to let it go.
Oh.
But you
Oh.
find yourself compelled walking towards her, even though you don't want to let this object go. And she leans forward towards you and says, "It's all right. Come here. Give it to me. I need you to make another wisdom saving throw."
Oh, she's compelling you.
Using the force.
These dice are so delayed.
Hmm.
Are you using the digital dice roller, or?
I did I had it on earlier to see if it would do it.
Yeah,
I got a 17 plus 1.
It's still not popping up for me. That's weird. An 18? 18 is not high
Yeah,
enough.
I'm going to turn it off.
You continue walking towards her and hold the wrapped skull up in both hands. As soon as she takes it from you, there is an incredible weight lifted off your shoulders, and your mind and vision clears. She pulls the cloak back that was wrapped around it, and places her bare hands on the skull. There doesn't seem to be any effect on her.
What?
She turns it over in her hands, looking carefully at the runes engraved on it. The purple light seems to diminish as she handles the skull. And she looks at Deeps and says, "It was good of you to call. This is worse than anything I've seen recently, anyway."
Can I mention to her the scrying eye?
She nods and places a hand over the eye socket. There's a flash of light, and she says, "There isn't any more. Although I fear we've revealed to whoever was on the other end of that scrying that we know of their evil."
We
She
believe it.
looks at Deebs,
Oh, good.
and she just says, This looks like one of yours," and she turns the skull towards you. It's hollow eyes staring at you. She kind of smiles weakly. Are you attached to this, or can I make it go away?
You can make it go away. It's evil.
I'll
We know
take the
who it
crown.
belongs to.
No, I don't think you should take the crown.
Aw.
It's- No.
We
Well, is there
believe
anything else?
we believe it was someone named Malarith behind this. Malarath.
She nods, and her eyes search the distance as if she's thinking of names. She looks back at you and says, "I don't think I can help any further. I don't think I'm allowed. But this, I can help with this."
How did you get here so quick?
I have my ways. It'll be a much slower journey home.
Thank you for coming, Gariel.
Well, I do what I can. I trust you'll all be heading back to Phandalin after this, or do you have other work to do?
Our new friend here has asked a task of us. She nods towards the winged man.
She looks at him for a long few seconds and then nods. Looks back at Deebs. I know what's in your heart. You can trust him. There is nothing but goodness in this one.
What about the people he wants to bring back? They've been around the well.
I trust you all to make sure that they're safe and to bring them back safely. There's not much more I can do.
I think our concern is that they might already be partly undead.
She looks at the skull again, sort of turning it to face her. I don't think so. First, maybe. Don't let them die without breaking that curse.
All right.
Oh. I suppose I'll see you in a few days.
We will return to Phandalin when we can.
We'll be
Good.
home.
Things are changing back at home. New faces and new developments. Nothing to worry about. Just change. I'll see you all soon. She turns and starts to walk away. She disappears off into the distance. Deebs, you notice it first. The rest of you all begin to notice as well. Airdrith's posture has changed significantly. You notice his head is bowed. He's looking at the ground. Shoulders slumped. His wings are relaxed. And as she walks away, he looks up and looks around. Did you not feel the power of her presence?
I did not.
No?
Hmm.
Should we have?
Perhaps she hides it better from you than she does from me. There is something about that one. She's
Yes.
quite powerful.
I believe we have not seen the true Gariel.
I hope to change that one day.
Uh-oh.
What does she mean by break the curse anyway? I thought that's what she just did.
The the townspeople might be cursed, and if so,
Whoa.
I mean, I can remove their curse, but it'll take some time.
Well, shouldn't.
How
Guess
many
we're done here then.
how many days are we out from Phandalin? Just a couple, right?
Well, let's move you back to the map and we'll have a look. Let's count some hexes.
Well, he mentioned that Falcon's Rest is a day away from Coneyberry, so it would be a day there, a day back to here, and then like
This is like an
2
Indiana
days
Jones
back
map.
to Phandalin.
It's 12. It's 2 to 3 days. Let's say 3 days. If you follow the road, it is would be 4 days, but if you cut through the hills, due south from here to there, you could make it in 3. 2 days easy journey, and I think it's, what is it, 5 miles, 24 miles a day, so roughly 5 hexes a day on the road, and so you make it to about here, and then cut south up the hills into Phandalin on the 3rd day. You could also you could also go over the low mountain pass and up the valley, down the valley, but there's no real reason for that. If you're traveling with townsfolk and a wagon, it's best to stick to the roads. It would be 4 days if you went all the way to the junction at Low Valley Road and came back up that way, but you can probably find a way or blaze a trail to shave a day off. But if you're not in a huge hurry, you could just stick to the roads, and it would be easy travel with, minimal chance of any issues.
Well, I mean, really, if we're going to be traveling with a bunch of refugees, it's probably for the best we just take the roads anyway.
Yeah. So let's call it 4 days. 4 days by road, back to Phandalin, and a safe travel with no real worries. Whoever's deleting the numbers, you can just click and drag to select them all, right? Like that.
Poker, it's me. You know I do everything by one tile at a time.
Yeah. Erdrith walks over to you, Deebs, and he says, I think I can help lift the curse from a few, but I might need your help with the rest.
Excellent, of course. We should head there soon.
There's no reason for you to come. I can go and fetch them. I will fly back to Falcon's Rest in half the time it would take for you to walk there. Maybe less. The forest is dense, and it's not exactly an easy path.
All right.
He looks around at all of you, and then looks at Lunalia and says, did you still have interest in that manor house to the north?
Yes. Let's walk and talk at the same time. I will explain to you all. And as we're walking, she will fill you in on the vision that she had last night, and the discussion that she had with him about this manor house.
Where are you walking? Where are you walking?
Yeah, where are you walking?
Well, we're leaving the town, aren't we?
He's heading to Falcon Rest to fetch them because it'll take him less time. I thought we were staying in the town.
Oh, I thought we were going to meet them halfway.
You guys need to decide where you're going next. So,
Well,
before you start walking off in a random direction, why don't you guys talk it out and figure out where you're going next?
Okay. Continue, Darkstar.
Yeah, so I had a vision last night of nothing but intense heat. And I can't help but be reminded of what you told us of what you saw of Dralamar. When I awoke this morning, my arms were steaming and dry, and I felt heat coming from the north. And so I asked our new friend here if he would have a look. He told me of a manor house due north that's been long abandoned by its owner. But it seems there has maybe been some recent goings on there. I'm concerned about these visions of fire.
Aye, it's concerning that some of us are starting to have them, not just one. Everyone.
Hold. Yeah, you're seeing things. More than one of you?
Aye.
What did you see?
I saw Dralamar in flames. Under siege. It was green flame, right? Green
It
stuff?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Green flame.
And
Unnatural.
I've had conversations, sort of, with an elemental, talking about flames and being forced out of their realm by fire.
An elemental, you say? Interesting you would say that. Kaeldrim, the elf who owned this manor house, who I have not seen in some time, he and I were not good friends. He, well, he didn't seem to associate with too many folk, but he was open to allowing me to rest atop his home. It was a good spot with a good vantage point of the valley below. And he seemed to have no trouble with me stopping there on my rounds. He would speak with me from time to time, and he seemed a fellow quite interested with the elements.
That is very interesting.
Consumed by them, indeed. Linelia, make an intelligence check.
Oh, it's not a good.
No. It's never a bad thing when the DM says make an intelligence check. It's just I'm reminding you of something that you should know.
Well, she's dumb.
Well, it's been a long time since you've.
Oh, nice.
That name, Kaeldrim, is familiar. You've seen it written somewhere.
Is that a name in her father's book?
It most certainly is. It is one of the 4 names.
What?
As you know, my parents died when I was very young in a horrible planner accident. And all that I have left is my mother's lyre and my father's research notes. And in his notes, there were several names. I've located one of them previously with the help of another. And we were in the process of looking for the rest when we were split up back in Corrado. I'd hoped to find more information in Dralamar, but perhaps I didn't need to go there after all.
Has she ever told us the story?
No, I know it because it's from.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if we RP'd it at all.
No,
told you the
it's from
story about
her.
the
It's from her
elementals.
starter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the elementals. Yeah, it's from her starter campaign. We did a I don't know 4 or 5 session campaign before this. It's from her backstory.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I had told you that my parents died, and it had to do, like, my father, who was a high elf, was researching the planes and elemental magics, and my mother, who was a druid, was helping him.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of her parents are like her. Her Genasi heritage is an aberration, possibly come about as as exposure to the planar magics that they were tinkering with.
Yeah, my parents always believed that it was their close work with all of this planner magic that made me the way I am.
Well, I think we should go investigate this manor right away then.
It's not far. It's an hour to the tree line, and perhaps another hour to the manor house. We could make it there before nightfall, and it's not a dangerous place to make camp. You could potentially even stay in the home itself. It's been abandoned for years, and I haven't seen Keldor Maloro for a long time. But what I found there when I scouted it early this morning were bodies. The bodies of the badly burnt bodies of men in red robes. Several of them. Scorch marks all about. I'm surprised the building itself didn't burn to the ground. Something happened there, and I worry that whoever or whatever killed those men is still nearby. Nevertheless, if you wish, I will lead you there.
Just for clarification,
Mhm.
Lunalia's only had one encounter with red-robed people, right?
Yes, there was a red-robed mage that you observed at a distance, meeting with the governor, and later on, when you found Nostric Galir's extraplanar study, after you left there, the red mage showed up and burned the building down.
Right. But she doesn't know anything about them, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
Well, let's head out.
It's not far, anyways. Let's do it.
It seems important. If it's related to the visions we're having.
Yes, I'm worried that it is.
Well, I will lead the way. I must be going home after that, though. I can make it to Falcon's Rest before nightfall if I fly directly from the mansion. And I can meet you, perhaps at the bridge, in another day's time. The morning of the 3rd day, I think. Late morning. I will stock what provisions I can and send the people with them. It should be enough to get them to Phandalin, but they will need your protection.
Aye, that's not a problem.
Very well. Well, I'm off. Look to the skies and follow the wings. And he turns and smiles, takes a few steps back, stretches out his wings, and flaps hard 3 times to push himself up in the air. each time rising higher and higher before he spins quickly, his wings wrapping around him for a second, and pushes himself forward, speeding off into the distance.
Did you say flaps or faps?
Flaps. And it occurs to you, watching him rise into the air so easily, that he must be incredibly light, hollow-boned. There's no way that those wings would lift him so quickly were he not. Over the course of the next couple hours, you follow the dark wings in the sky far off in the distance. Scribble, there is a longing emptiness gnawing at you with the absence of the skull, but it fades after some time. And as you reach the tree line, you find it a little harder to follow Erdrith, but you manage to keep up. Breaks in the canopy of the trees as they grow denser and denser show you glimpses of him, and he seems to stop and circle waiting for you, always seeming to keep within visual range of you. He must be watching you as you're watching him. The journey through the forest, as it gets denser, becomes tough. You find yourself slowing. And in the late afternoon, as the rays of the sun lengthen and dapple the foliage beneath the trees, you see in the distance, through a gap in the canopy above you, a hill that rises steeply, breaking through the forest, stone and grass. It rises. You reach the foot of the hill and start climbing. And at this point, Erdrith rejoins you, landing lightly. There, you see, up atop the hill. It's not a large home. Are you all right to travel the rest of the way without me?
I think we should be fine. You say it's not dangerous, yes?
He looks around and... Not overly. It's, I've flown a few large circles about you, and there are no particularly dangerous beasts nearby. You should be safe to ascend the hill here and camp atop it. Just... I worry less about the four-legged beasts and more of the two-legged ones that might lurk about.
Those are always the most dangerous.
Yes. Yes, they are. Well, I shall take my leave. I will see you not tomorrow, but the morning of the day after.
She's gonna blow him a kiss.
His eyes kind of go wide, and he takes a step back and bows deeply. Comes up with a broad smile. Looks about the rest of you. Good luck, friends. And he takes to the air.
Why do none of the rest of you say goodbye like this? So Mia told me that was the way that we were supposed to greet and send people off.
No homo? I don't know.
She'll just cock her head at you.
Barbarian.
Maybe it's just
Only
a
I
druid.
was raised by a wolf.
In my village, only the women said bye. We just grunt.
All right.
Deep's gonna kick the door
There's
down.
only one direction.
Do we see the bodies he's referring to?
Give me a second here. I'm just putting some art on the map, and I will try and get it on your screens here. As you climb to the
that's
top
cool.
of the hill. Yeah, really cool piece of art that I found on the Googles. as you climb to the top of the hill, the silhouette of the tall, narrow building grows larger and larger, and you begin to see detail of this tall, narrow building of elvish architecture with tattered banners hanging from it. Um, the grounds about it are unkempt, but mostly wild to start with. You see the door stands open from a distance. There is the faint trail of smoke that pours from the door. Just a wisp that curls up and out. And as you get close, you begin to smell something burnt. The closer you get, the clearer it becomes that it is indeed burnt flesh.
So, isn't this what you were talking about, Linalia?
Don't know. I didn't see anything in my vision. I only felt the heat. I saw just darkness and a pair of glowing yellow eyes.
And someone talking to you.
And I heard the voice. Begging for help. Begging.
I'm kind of like with Deeb's approach here, crashing in and trying to find this. I don't know. I'm not.
We should enter the house, investigate for sure. There may be a lower level, who knows, but we should definitely search.
Are the bodies still here? Or no?
Well, through the front door, you can see in the foyer there are charred objects, and if you enter the building, you will see 4 charred corpses. The remnants of red robes still on them. Not
Does
much
anything
left.
else look burnt?
The floor about them, it looks like there was an old rug, stained and threadbare, that is mostly burnt. There's just a corner of it left. The wood beneath it seems untouched. There are light scorches on the walls, but the building itself is relatively untouched, despite the intense heat that would have burned these people.
All right, let's investigate. Let's search around.
Together, or are we splitting the party?
Are there?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Are there any rocks outside? Like just by the door?
Yeah, there's, of course.
Joker's just gonna grab, just a decent sized rock and just throw it into, the middle of the bodies.
Oh,
Just
okay.
to see.
Just to see if there's a trap. The rock bounces and rolls to a halt against the far wall, going right in between the corpses. Nothing.
Nice throw, Rogar.
Is there anything left on the bodies, or are they so badly charred? Like, do they have any, I don't know, insignia, pendants,
you
books,
could,
paperwork?
You could make a make an investigation check. There's really nothing left on them that wasn't burnt. You find a spot on the hand of one of these figures, a spot on its finger that is there's just a bit of flesh, as if there was a ring that protected the flesh from the flames, but that ring's been removed.
I think whatever happened here was deliberate. I don't think
How
this
much
was
is left of the robes?
Not much, just enough that you can tell that they were robes, but flash burnt. So as if like a fireball went off in here.
I can't tell if there was any like symbols or anything on them.
No, from what you can tell, there's a bit of the back of a robe here, and a bit of the hemline of a robe there, and a sleeve here, and a collar there. Looking them over, scribble with your keen visual acuity, you start to stitch together an image in your mind of what one of the robes might have looked like. Plain, red with fine gold scroll work around the edges, but no obvious identifying symbols that you can see.
Can I copy that into my cloak?
Indeed, you can. Is it a cape or is it a cloak?
It's a cloak.
Okay, yeah. So you pull the cloak shut around you and imagine what they might have looked like, making yourself look like that. As the rest of you see his cloak change form and color. That's good. Make yourself look like one of the baddies. We're having fried chicken tonight.
We should stick together as we search this place.
Agreed.
It's never good when we split up.
No, it is not.
Well, let's have the. I'd like you guys to pick somebody to make the investigation checks, and they can be given advantage. If anybody's got guidance handy, they could even
I do.
They could even drop a bit of guidance on them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go.
I say Scribble makes the investigation check.
Well, whoever's got decent intelligence.
Yeah, I do not.
I don't either.
I got 10.
Nobody does.
Oh shit.
That might
Yeah, but
be
I
the
thought you had-
highest.
I thought you had a higher investigation, though.
No.
Well then.
Alright. Yeah, mine's a +0.
No, he's just always the one to pick through the battlefield after a fight.
That's true.
Yeah, looking at investigation.
If we're all low, then it doesn't matter who does it.
You guys are all, believe it or not, yeah. The highest anybody has is 0. Scribble,
Jesus.
Scribble, Noro, and Lunalia.
Oh, good. We,
All right.
All right, what do you want me to roll?
Yep.
Yeah, you roll. I'll give you guidance
At advantage.
and advantage.
And how do I do advantage or guidance?
You
just roll a D4.
Roll a manual D4.
I'm going to add 3 to your roll. So 14.
So what does he see, Poker?
Oh, sorry, you already rolled the investigation. I missed it. The ground floor of the building is empty, and has seen the most traffic. And what I mean by that is there are clear signs that creatures have nested here from time to time. You see definite signs that over the years, perhaps people have camped here. There is a smallish kitchen that has long since been raided of anything and everything. There isn't even a piece of rotted food left in it. Cobwebs throughout, broken windows with vines growing through them. There is a large living room that is looks to have once been set for entertainment. Several large once well upholstered chairs sit about. 2 of them turned on their sides, the stuffing torn out of the worn upholstery. A third one stands upright, but is stained with various fluids. Nothing really of value left in this place. It's been picked through by various passersby. There seems to be in the corner of one room on the ground floor what appears to be a nest where several large rodents had made a home for some time. Moving on to the second floor carefully, you find a long hall with rooms on either side. One of the rooms is a rather large bedroom with a grand four-post bed on it. The bedding stripped off, strewn about the floor. Again, anything of value here gone. Windows broken out. Stains and bits of dirt and scuff all about the place. At the end of the hall, you find a study. The door sits partway open, and as you push it open the rest of the way and look about, there are empty bookshelves lining the walls down both sides. A large desk at the far end. The window behind it reveals a stunning view of the valley below. Several of the panes of glass are broken out, and vines curl in and around the lead work. On one wall, there is a large marble statue. A strikingly beautiful woman wearing long flowing robes. 6 arms, 4 of them outstretched with empty palms facing up. The other 2 raised above her head, hands cupped about an empty space, roughly the size of a human head. There is a tattered rug at her feet, stained and torn, and a circle of runes and sigils peeks out from the wooden floor beneath. As you search the room, you don't find anything of value. The drawers of the desk have been pulled out and left on the floor, upturned. Old papers strewn about, moldered and weathered. The ink on them long since faded beyond reading. But this statue, Scribble, you could make an Arcana check. Deebs, you could make a religion check.
Alrighty.
That'll do.
Oh, nice.
Scribble, the statue, the number of arms on it is all wrong. You're not aware of any 6-armed figures in magical mythology or in any pantheon, but there is something about this statue that is reminiscent of Mystra, the goddess of magic and the guardian of the spell weave. As you're inspecting it and looking at the circle carved into the floor beneath it, your eyes are drawn to the 2 hands that are raised high up, cupped around an empty space. There is a flicker of arcane light that catches your eye between those hands, almost as if tempting you to have a closer look. Deebs, the figure, again to you with your role, not quite as familiar to you, but there is something about it that reminds you of what you've read of Mystra. But the number of arms is strange.
Okay.
So, like, I saw a flicker between the 2 hands, the top ones.
Yeah, so imagine this marble statue. The statue stands around 6 feet tall. two of its arms, it's the highest pair of arms, are raised up sort of above and in front of its head, and its hands are cupped around almost as if it were holding like a bowling ball between them, but there is nothing between them. You saw just a flash of blue light, a little spark between them that shimmered and faded suddenly. Her other four arms are held lower. The bottom pair are, about 3 feet off the ground, extended forward and to the sides a bit, palms up and empty. The middle pair of arms spread a bit wider, palms up, about 4.5 feet off the ground. Palms also empty.
And what was this the goddess of?
It's Mistra, the goddess of magic.
Do the
Ask Deebs if he can see anything like between the hands, just to explain what I saw, like the flash of light.
I'll take a
with
closer
his-
look. Or do you want me to
with
use my
his-
gem?
Yeah. Do you regain charges on that?
I don't.
I thought
don't
it
know.
did.
I think it does, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, regains 1d3 daily at dawn. 1d3
Okay, cool.
charges. Nice. Yeah, I'll use my true sight then. And I'm just wondering if those arms move. If this is a puzzle.
Or if we have to put something in the hands, or
Yeah. Yep.
All right. You speak the command word for the gem, and that now familiar silver shimmer flows over everything around you. You chance a scan around the room and see nothing hidden per se. Looking over the statue, there is nothing hidden. The statue is as it appears, but there is a faint magical shimmer between its highest pair of hands. Are either of you standing close to the statue, within the 5-foot circle that's inscribed on the ground in front of it?
I'm sure I probably would be.
Me too. I'm just trying. Like Sherlock
Yeah,
Holmes with his
so-
magnifying glass.
Yeah. So, and the circle isn't. It's not fully exposed. There is carpet over it, over most of it. In fact, you only really see the edge of the circle where the carpet's sort of been torn and pulled back. Standing in that circle with your true sight, Deebs, you see a flickering sigil, an arcane sigil, between her hands, between her cupped hands. You could make an Arcana check.
Oof.
Looking at that, this would be a pretty easy one, even without proficiency in Arcana. You would recognize this to be a symbol representing the school of evocation. The magical, the arcane school of magic that
Is that
covers the elements, raw magical energy in the elements.
is there a matching rune on the floor?
You begin to pull the carpet back on the floor, and no, the sigils on the floor are something different.
Okay.
Much more complex. Scribble could maybe divine their purpose, or perhaps you could. I mean, they're magical sigils. If there is some magic left in this circle, if you had a spell, perhaps Detect Magic would show you more.
All right. Well, I let them know that I see the evocation sigil between her hands, or between the statue's hands.
I wonder if casting a spell there.
And yeah, I'll go ahead and cast Detect Magic.
All right. Are you ritual casting that, or are you just gonna burn the spell slot?
I mean, can we wait 10
it's 10
minutes?
minutes.
Yeah,
You take it.
I'll do that one preferably, so
Okay.
I don't use a slot.
You spend the time casting the spell in a ritual fashion, and as you complete the incantation, again you glance around the room and you don't see anything. As you peruse the statue and the circle inscribed beneath it, there is a strong sense of there is a very strong sense of magic from the runic circle inscribed on the floor. And it is steeped in conjuration magic.
Okay, I'll explain all of what I sense to them as I go.
Conjuration magic, of course, is the school that it's a domain that covers the conjuring of creatures from other planes, as well as the transportation or teleportation of creatures and objects from one place or plane to another. It is perhaps a circle that would move someone standing on it from one place to another. The statue itself, you can see a strong link between that circle and the statue. The statue's hands, however, glow. Each one of its outstretched, open palms glows very faintly with evocation magic, as does the runic sigil in its highest pair of hands.
Can
So the statue itself, its 6 palms glow with evocation magic. 4 of them empty, and 2 of them holding a symbol that literally says evocation magic, and it's linked to possibly a teleportation circle on the floor.
and we're not standing on that circle at the moment, are we?
You are you and Scribble.
Oh, we are. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well,
I would cast
it's-
conjuration magic if I had it.
You said it was evocation in the statue's hands, right? What?
Yeah. And
It
evocation
controls
is the school
elements?
of magic.
That's the elements.
Yeah, it's raw magic. It's fireball. It's lightning bolt. It's ice storm. It's
How many elements are there? Maybe a small elemental magic in each hand would activate it. Fire, water, earth.
The fighter,
I
everybody.
mean,
The fighter.
so
The fighter with 8 intellect.
I have 8 intellect as well.
I can do like 4 of those.
Unlike Rogar, I'm gonna roleplay 10 intelligence. I just got my hands up, like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can do.
So I mean, I can conjure water.
I can do
Why don't
fire.
go ahead?
Well, I guess word of radiance is it's an evocation, but is that fire or is that divine?
No, it's radiant. I can do fire as well. I can do ice.
Is it a cantrip? What you do? Dark.
Shape water is. Create water is not.
I can do wind.
Can we do, I don't know, six
Well-
waters or something? Slap them up there and see what happens?
I mean, I can druidcraft a tiny little flame. It doesn't do anything. It's just tiny, but it's a cantrip. So why don't we start there?
All right.
I think
All
that-
right.
I think that's the point.
Although I don't have a way, like it doesn't.
Can we
Yeah,
just
I mean,
can we
I
just
can-
light something on fire and tap it against the statue's hand?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Last words.
One way to find out.
We can
Yeah.
get behind the
We've got
desk.
to revivify. It's fine.
It's fine. I got a scroll. We're good.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm hiding
I will-
under the desk. Before you do it.
The one spell I know that is conjuration magic is my ice knife.
Oh hell!
So I will cast that. Yeah, everybody get across the room.
And what
And
are you
I'll
aiming
cast
for?
ice. I am going to aim for one of the open palms.
All right. And sorry, ice knife is conjuration magic.
Oh wait, no, the palms are evocation, aren't they?
The palms are evocation.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, that won't work.
I was going to say, what do y'all have for evocation, and is it cantrip, and can you repeat it? Or
Just
make
looking.
multiple?
Yes. Frostbite is
Woohoo.
evocation. It's 50 feet, so yeah, I will cast Frostbite on the bottom right hand.
Okay. You all step back a good distance as Lunalia casts Frostbite. The bottom right hand of the statue is suddenly encased in growing slivers of ice. Suddenly, light flares in each of its open palms as 4 different colored runes appear in the open palms. The 2 highest hands that are clasped about the evocation symbol that only Deebs could see, now that symbol flares to life, and the rest of you see it. Deebs, it doesn't change for you; it looks the same, just more
Okay.
solid. Seeing it in both your true sight and your normal vision. The rest of you see that symbol as well. Lunalia, you speak primordial, right?
Yes. Yes, I do.
The effect of your spell fades, but the symbols stay lit. They are shimmering. In the lower right hand that you'd aimed at, there is a blue and white rune that shimmers and ripples, and you can read it. It's a primordial rune, but it's a word that you may not be familiar with. It is you sounded it out loud. Istashia. In the upper right hand, rippling ribbons of red and yellow form into a rune that spells Kossuth. In the lower left hand, brown and gray blocky rune that spells Grumbar. And in the upper left hand, there is a shimmering silver and white rune that spells Akkadi. And as you sound these names out, Deebs, Deebs and Lunalia both, you could make a religion check. 12 is just enough. You've heard these names, Deebs. They don't mean much to you. In that you haven't read much about them, but you do remember reading about the Dawn War between gods and primordials. And there were some primordials that chose not to fight and instead rose to a position of godhood. Akkadi, the Queen of Air, Grumbar, the Earth Lord, Kossuth, the Lord of Flames, and Istishia, King of the Endless Sea. These runes represent primordial gods of the elements.
Okay, I give that
other
info.
than them flaring to light, the spell had no other effect other than uncovering these runes. So 4 open palms, 4 runes. Each one of them represents air, earth, fire, and water. And they seem to be open and waiting.
Upon hearing this news, she will go ahead and create water into the symbol that looks like it belongs.
All right. You cast the spell. I believe you. Oh yeah, up to 10 gallons. Wow. As you draw moisture from the air and it solidifies into a rippling ball of water, just over the palm, you see the marble hand. The fingers splay open wide and then close around the ball of water, seemingly trapping it. You let go of the spell, and this writhing ball of water stays intact, somehow magically contained in this hand that now holds it. The rune that glowed in its place shimmers away, and now there is a writhing, rippling ball of water in that hand.
We have to do the rest.
Okay, I will druid craft a tiny little dancing flame for the fiery rune.
A little spinning elemental of fire dances in the palm as the fingers splay wide open and then close around it. It's light flickering from between the fingers, like a caged beast. The rune fades out of existence, but you release the spell, and the fire continues to dance. There are 2 hands left.
I can do gust of wind for air.
Okay.
All right, I cast gust of wind.
You cast the spell, and the water in the lower right hand and the fire in the upper right hand, both the water splashes up the arm, and the fire flickers and bursts into a large flame that shoots out from between the clasped fingers in the opposite direction from the blast of air. But they manage to stay mostly intact in those 2 hands. The third hand, the upper left hand, where the symbol of Akkadi, the Queen of Air, once appeared, the wind blows the symbol and it shimmers out. The hand reaches up and quickly grabs the air, and you can see in the palm, with the fingers clasped around it, a small whirling tornado. 1 hand remains.
Does anybody have Earth?
I can make
Welcome to Earth.
welcome to Earth.
Wish I had it. One of my dirt benders would have fixed that.
I mean, I can create vines and weeds. Does that count as Earth, or does it actually have to be like rock and soil?
I can soil
no,
something
50.
with prestidigitation.
This
Maybe
is true.
that'll work.
Soil.
This is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it
But
muddy.
it's transmutation.
I don't think that matters at this point. None of the stuff that we've just used now are evocation.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
It's
Alright, I'll
just
do
the
that
element,
then.
Yeah.
All right. As you you cast prestidigitation and a thin film of let me just read the spell text here. Clean or soil an object no larger than you don't really need a spell to soil something, but as you cast the spell and you wave your hand through the air, the final open palm, a soft layer of dirt sort of sprinkles down on it from the air above it. And as it does, the fingers very stiffly sort of crunch together, um, and when the hand opens slightly, it is holding a pile of fresh earth. And as that happens, the symbol in the topmost pair of hands flashes and shifts, um, and instead is replaced by a conjuration symbol. And the runes on the ground flare to life, glowing directly through the carpet. There is a rippling silver blue light that shimmers in the space just before the statue, seemingly like a Star Trek transporter. There's a bit of a magical hum in the air, and the gateway just stands waiting for you to enter.
Ah, now this looks familiar.
I'm
We're going in, boys.
scared.
It does look familiar.
Yes, the last name that I met in my father's journal was hidden away in a study locked behind a portal similar to this.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she will approach it and walk through.
Wow.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
I guess we're. I
We'll
guess we're
follow
going.
behind her. We'll follow behind her.
As you see her enter the portal, her corporeal existence shimmers and then explodes as the atoms that make up her body are torn in all directions, and blink out of
Rip.
existence.
See you later. Roll new character, please.
You all step in one by one after
Does
her.
before stepping in, does it look like the study can be barred?
You could definitely shut the door and muscle a couple of bookshelves in front of it. You could pile the desk and bookshelf. Yeah, you could.
I'll
can
do
make it
that
really
before
hard
going
for
through.
somebody to get in this room.
Yep. I help Rogar.
Okay. The two
I'll
of you
do
do
that
that, keeping
before
an eye on
going
the portal, and the portal stands. You do your best to muscle as much furniture in front of the door as possible, which is super fucking smart and is going to make next week a lot easier for you guys. Before finally jumping in the portal, as you enter, your vision shreds as your body does and is put back together. You find yourselves all standing around a similar shimmering portal on the floor. The room about you is dark. There is the smell of ash, the smell of heat, the smell of more burnt bodies. A shimmer off in the distance. You see a humanoid figure trapped, some sort of cage of energy about it. There are more bodies on the ground about this man. Dark skin, dark the color of burnt wood, black and gray, eyes that shine bright, blazing yellow in the darkness. A mane of hair that whips about as if on fire. He stands calmly in the middle of this force cage. He looks up. Finally, you came. Ready yourselves. They are here. And that's where we're going to pick up next week.
Ooh.
Oh man.
So that was the voice that I heard in the vision last night.
It certainly was.
Nice.
God! Oh my God!
All right.
So giddy.
He
So-
sounds like a genasi.
Ending the stream here.
Yeah, we'll see you guys all next week.
All right.
Bye.